if it becomes a case where the groundwater, the water that's soaking into the ground, is more than the rate of flow of the groundwater can accommodate it, then instead of flowing away, it rises. All right.
Mhm.
So groundwater doesn't flow as fast as the river water. So while you see rain falling and the river is a raging torrent as it goes.
Good day, I'm Theodore Henry, and this is your GIS News for Friday, November 7, 2025. The agriculture and fisheries sectors are estimated to have suffered over $20 billion in losses from the impact of Hurricane Melissa. Technocrats within the Ministry of Agriculture, Fisheries and Mining say the final figures are expected to rise as some severely impacted areas remain inaccessible. The preliminary figures were disclosed in a statement from the ministry Thursday evening. Portfolio Minister Floyd Green is describing the situation as catastrophic. He laments that Hurricane Melissa has delivered a crippling blow to farmers, fishers and rural communities whose livelihoods are now at extreme risk. Early reports indicate near total devastation in key crop lines, including an estimated 90% loss of banana and plantain and significant destruction across vegetables, tubers, particularly yam, and fruit trees. Preliminary livestock assessments show major disruption, including the loss of approximately 40% of the layer flock. Fisheries have also been severely hit, with 25% of the island's fishing fleet destroyed and 41% of aquaculture farmers reporting damage. Minister Green says the teams are working at pace to complete full evaluations by Monday, November 10, and he is to update Parliament next week on the full extent of the damage and present the program of response. The Food and Agriculture Organization, FAO, has deployed a disaster assessment specialist to support the process and help guide the technical response. The ministry has also established dedicated hotlines alongside its regular contact lines and is urging all farmers, fishers, and miners to immediately report any damage sustained. Stakeholders can reach the ministry at 876-927-1731-41. The Rural Agricultural Development Authority can be reached via the hotline 888-ASK-RADA or WhatsApp 876-436-8879, as well as RADA parish offices in Clarendon, St. Catherine, and St. Andrew. Contact can also be made with the Jamaica Agricultural Society at 876-922-0610-2 and the National Fisheries Authority at 876-948-9014 and other numbers. The Ministry of Labour and Social Security is reporting that a $2 million line of credit has been allocated to each parish to prevent relief stock shortages following the hurricane. Portfolio Minister Pernell Charles Jr. adds that 33 vehicles have also been designated to support last-mile deliveries of relief supplies to affected communities. He says the ministry has developed a strategic roadmap for recovery to guide operations over the next 14 to 30 days. This includes completing a verified household registry with vulnerability tags to ensure that support is distributed fairly and efficiently. Other priorities include sustaining relief efforts and continuing deliveries to hard-to-reach communities and providing temporary shelter solutions, including large tents supplied by partners. The next step is transitioning to early recovery through targeted cash and livelihood support in collaboration with ODPEM and the Ministry of Finance. Public information and grievance channels are also being maintained. Persons who have not yet received help are urged to visit their nearest parish office when it is safe to do so, or contact the ministry's call center at 876-922-8000-13. Access has now been restored along key transportation corridors across the island, reconnecting Ocho Rios to Port Antonio, Morant Bay to Kingston, and Mandeville to Black River, extending through to Negril and Montego Bay. Minister with responsibility for works, Robert Morgan, is reporting success in creating a corridor for persons to be able to bring relief supplies, particularly to the western parishes severely impacted by the hurricane.
We now have a good corridor from the border of St. Elizabeth all the way to Savannah-la-Mar, and we have a corridor from St. James coming through St. Anne Trelawney all the way to Savannah-la-Mar on the other side.
Mr. Morgan adds that work is also actively being done across the island to clear several roadways. These include Vauxhall to Arcadia, Mountainside to Malvern, and Newton to Magotty.
Most of the challenges that we face in terms of opening roads is flooding, significant landslides, and in some cases, falling trees. We are working with the Jamaica Public Service Company. We have worked out an arrangement where on a daily basis we are engaged with them in a meeting where we are clearing and there are JPS poles. We work together to remove those poles or relocate them.
The National Water Commission (NWC) is reporting that temporary restoration to the Great River water supply system is expected to be completed by this weekend. The system, which was destroyed by Hurricane Melissa, provides water to thousands of residents across St. James, Hanover, and Westmoreland. Acting Corporate Public Relations Manager at the NWC, Delano Williams, tells GIS News that 150 feet of pipes from the raw water intake into the plant was destroyed.
The displacement it causes that we are unable to run the pump, and so we cannot supply our customers regularly, hence a number of interim measures are now in place. From the St. James side, we are utilizing our Reading Spring and Catherine Mount facilities. On the Hanover side, we are receiving intermittent supply from the Logwood system, which is serving sections of Lucy and environs, and we are trying to supplement with some trucking as well.
He adds that while this temporary restoration will aid residents through the hurricane recovery period, plans are afoot to have a more permanent structure built.
What we intend to do is to have our engineers look back at the entire design and come up with a more permanent, more resilient infrastructure that, should we have anything close to this level, again, we may be able to stand up against it. And so the emergency work now is targeted at the preventing any kind of significant fallout in health and sanitation. And it's crucial that we therefore push ahead to complete the temporary works as quickly as possible. Hence, we're targeting this weekend.
The Water Resources Authority (WRA) is reporting that the flooding affecting sections of Content in Williams Field, Manchester, is due to a significant rise in groundwater levels in the local aquifer system. Managing Director of the WRA, Peter Clark, tells GIS News that the authority is monitoring the situation closely, but stresses that this is a natural phenomenon that is expected to continue until groundwater levels stabilize.
If it becomes a case where the groundwater, the water that's soaking into the ground, is more than the rate of flow of the groundwater can accommodate it, then instead of flowing away, it rises. All right? So groundwater doesn't flow as fast as the river water. So while you see rain falling and the river is a raging torrent as it goes downstream, your groundwater moves a whole lot slower than that.
The rise has occurred as the country received heavy rainfall before and during the passage of Hurricane Melissa. Data shows that the surface flooding comes from the active upward movement of water through a nearby sinkhole.
In this case, we have determined that it is rising up through sinkholes that would normally take water away, but it is now using the sinkhole as a conduit to rise up through the sinkhole, like the upward motion in a funnel, and then now spilling over into the whole area and causing a problem.
The WRA has installed a flood gauge in the area and has begun routine monitoring of water levels. Assessments have also begun in the Comfort Hall Evergreen areas of Manchester, where groundwater has historically risen and caused property flooding. Energy Minister Darrell Vaz says the national fuel supply network is stabilizing rapidly following disruptions caused by Hurricane Melissa. He reports that full service resumed at West Indies Petroleum Limited as of October 27 and that most gas stations in Western Jamaica are now reopening. For communities still not receiving regular fuel service, Minister Vaz says mobile stations will be deployed.
On Monday, we have 10 mobile fuel stations that will go out to specific areas guided to me by the JDF and ODPEM that will be able to set up and operate on generators and will also be able to sell kerosene, which is very, very important at this time.
As part of the post-hurricane response, the National Health Fund NHF has been deploying its mobile pharmacy units across several hard-hit parishes, including St. Elizabeth, St. James, Westmoreland and Hanover. This is to ensure continued access to vital medications for people whose access to fixed health facilities may have been disrupted by hurricane damage, flooding or road blockages. The service has already filled prescriptions in communities such as Black River, Spice Grove and Brampton in St. Elizabeth, as well as Maroon Town in St. James and Negril and Little London in Westmoreland. Minister of Health and Wellness Dr. Christopher Tufton says this initiative demonstrates the ministry's commitment to maintaining health service continuity even under the most challenging circumstances. Residents in affected parishes are encouraged to make use of the service and to follow public advisories regarding schedules and locations, which will be updated as access improves. The Transport Authority is warning public passenger vehicle (PPV) operators to stop overcharging commuters in the aftermath of Hurricane Melissa, or risk having their road licenses suspended or revoked. The authority says it has received reports that several taxi and bus operators across the country have been charging higher fares since the passage of the hurricane. Managing Director Ralston Smith is reminding operators that demanding more than the approved fare is illegal and a violation of commuters' rights. He warns that under Section 68(1) of the Road Traffic Act, operators who continue to overcharge passengers could face suspension or revocation of their road licenses. Commuters are urged to report incidents of overcharging by calling 876-926-8912 or via WhatsApp at 876-551-8196, providing the license plate number, route and any supporting photos or videos. The authority is also urging commuters to use only licensed public transport vehicles, which can be identified by red license plates and the light blue Transport Authority sticker on the windshield marked with an expiration date of 2026. Minister of Culture, Gender, Entertainment and Sport, Olivia Grange, says the launch of the National Register of Volunteers is part of the government's broader plan to streamline disaster response and harness the skills of Jamaicans at home and abroad. The registry is hosted on the supportjamaica.gov.jm portal to coordinate volunteers who wish to aid in the post-hurricane relief efforts.
Through this registry, you will be able to tell us when you're available to help, what your skills are, as well as what type of assistance you would like to give. Perhaps who wish to assist with food distribution or shelter operations or medical support. Maybe you want to help with cleanup or counseling, transport or administration, whatever your skills are, however you want to help. Just tell us when you sign up to the registry.
She says the Common Vulnerability Scoring System, CVSS, and other non-governmental organizations have also been invited to sign up on this portal.
So we'll have a joined-up, seamless approach. We will reduce or eliminate duplication and ensure that we get help to those affected by the hurricane.
And finally, the government is set to launch a national cleanup campaign as part of efforts to revitalize communities dealing with massive amounts of debris following the hurricane. The initiative will be coordinated by the National Solid Waste Management Authority, NSWMA, with support from several public sector agencies. These include the National Works Agency, the Social Development Commission, the Tourism Product Development Company, and the Ministry of Education. Minister of Local Government and Community Development Desmond McKenzie announced the initiative earlier this week.
The purpose of the cleanup, ladies and gentlemen, is for Jamaicans to participate in this national cleanup exercise that will take place right across the country in every community. And this will be a call for national duty, for national response.
Speaking in Parliament on Tuesday, Prime Minister Dr. Andrew Holness added that members of Parliament would be called upon to play a critical role in mobilizing residents for the week of cleanup. He also disclosed that a small stipend would be provided to volunteers assisting with the effort.
We will provide a stipend to assist the restart of economic activity. through the cleanup. But it does require, however, value for money. And that is why we're going to need the MPs there to ensure that we get the value for money. And I think that is only fair.
And that's it for JIS News today. I'm Theodore Henry. Thanks for watching.